Welcome the spicy ladies. The strongest hearts are often the ones quietly broken, rebuilt, and locked away for good. When a loyal Sigma female gets hurt, you won't see a dramatic scene, endless arguments, or public pity parties. That's just not her style. What you'll witness is something far more powerful. Silence, distance, and evolution. Sigma females don't explode, they transform. And when they're hurt, they don't just walk away, they elevate. You might think loyalty means endless chances, but to a Sigma female, loyalty isn't something you get by default. It's something you earn through consistency, respect, and truth. So, when you cross that line, you're not just losing her, you're losing access to a version of her that only existed because she believed in you. And here's the thing, once her belief dies, so does the relationship. Sigma females are wired differently. They love deeply, but with eyes wide open. They'll give you room to be yourself, space to grow, and support when no one else believes in you. But cross her boundaries, and you'll trigger a silent reset that removes you without warning and without regret. So, if you've ever been that person who hurt a Sigma female, understand this. She didn't walk away because she stopped caring. She walked away because she started caring about herself more. And that's a decision no one can undo. Let's get started. Spicy ladies. Number 1. She destroys the version of herself that loved you. And once she kills that version, she doesn't resurrect her. This isn't just about heartbreak, it's about transformation. When a Sigma female gets hurt, especially by someone she gave her loyalty to, something deep inside her shifts. She doesn't just move on. She eliminates the part of her that loved you. She doesn't fake healing or pretend to be fine while secretly checking your page at midnight. No, she goes deeper. She examines why she allowed herself to love you in the first place, what she saw in you, what she ignored, what she gave, and what she lost. And then she begins the cold, honest process of letting that version of herself die. The woman who waited for your texts, who forgave your half-efforts, who believed in your potential, she's gone. And when she goes, she doesn't come back. That softness, that emotional access you once had, you'll never see it again. Not because she's bitter, but because she's done allowing someone else to define her emotional worth. And here's what makes this so different. She doesn't do it out of revenge. She does it for clarity, for peace, for survival. You became the turning point. The moment she realized she needed to build herself without pieces of you still stuck in her foundation. You might try to come back. You might think she's still the same person, just guarded. But you'll find a woman who looks familiar, yet feels completely foreign. That old version of her, the one who gave you chance after chance, is gone. And she didn't leave a spare key. Sigma females don't play the back and forth game. Once they close the chapter, they burn the pages. Not out of hate, but out of self-respect. So, if you ever get that cold glance from someone who used to adore you, understand this, you're not being punished. You're just face to face with a woman who learned that loving you required losing herself. And she's never making that mistake again. Number 2, she will replay the pain, not to mourn, but to study your pattern. Most people replay painful memories to cry, to grieve, to heal. But a Sigma female, that's not her style. When she replays the pain, it's not about feeling sorry for herself. It's about breaking down everything you did so she can understand exactly how it happened and make sure it never happens again. She becomes like a detective, reviewing every clue, every word you said, every lie you told, every subtle warning she ignored. She rewinds it all in her mind, not to relive the hurt, but to learn from it. She studies your behavior patterns like a scientist examining data, searching for hidden motives and weaknesses she missed the first time. This isn't an emotional spiral. It's a calculated process. She's hunting for the exact moment things went wrong, pinpointing the signs she overlooked or dismissed. She wants to understand why she trusted someone who turned out to be untrustworthy, and more importantly, how to recognize those signs faster next time. Unlike others who might get stuck in grief or anger, she turns pain into a lesson. She refuses to be a victim of her past decisions. Instead, she transforms every hurtful experience into a mental blueprint, a guide to protect her boundaries and sharpen her instincts. So, if you think her pain means she's broken or stuck, think again. It means she's working, preparing herself to never be blindsided again. And that's why once you hurt a Sigma female, you don't just lose her trust. You become part of a pattern she's already decoding, and she won't fall for it twice. Number 3, she starts seeing weak apologies as insults. Words mean little to her now. She reads patterns, not promises. Once a Sigma female has been hurt, her emotional hearing changes. She no longer listens to apologies with hope. She listens with analysis. A weak sorry isn't healing to her anymore. It's a red flag, an insult, a sign that you still don't get it. She's done with empty words, done with half-hearted remorse and shallow attempts to smooth things over. If you hurt her and all you offer is a vague, "I didn't mean to," or "let's move past it," she won't be touched. She'll be offended because it's not the apology she needs. It's accountability. It's the actions that follow. It's the change behavior that never needs an explanation. Sigma females don't speak damage control. They speak truth patterns. They study what you do when you think no one's paying attention. They're not moved by emotion anymore. They're moved by evidence. And if you think you can slip back into her life with a few sweet lines, think again. She's not the woman who cried herself to sleep anymore. She's the woman who turned those tears into armor. To her, a weak apology is just noise, a failed distraction. She'd rather you stay silent than insult her intelligence with performative guilt. Because here's the thing, she remembers how you acted when you had her heart. And she notices how little you've changed now that you want it back. She doesn't need a second chance to hear the same lies in a softer tone. She needs consistency over time. And if she doesn't see that, she'll walk. Not angrily, not bitterly, just with a deep inner clarity that this chapter is officially closed. So if you're coming back with words but not growth, understand this, to a Sigma woman, that isn't redemption. It's disrespect. She no longer wants pretty apologies. She wants proof. Number 4, she rewires her emotions like a machine reprogramming itself. When a Sigma female gets hurt, she doesn't just sit around hoping the pain will fade. She doesn't wait for time to fix her. No, she goes deeper. Much deeper. Imagine a complex machine that's been damaged. Instead of being scrapped or patched up, it gets taken apart, analyzed, and then reprogrammed from the inside out. That's what she does with her emotions. She doesn't just heal in the usual way. She actively rewires how she feels, thinks, and reacts. The memories tied to you, no matter how strong or beautiful they once were, get detached, like unplugging a faulty circuit. Those emotional triggers that used to light up with pain or hope, she finds them, isolates them, and cuts the connection clean. This process is not messy or chaotic. It's surgical. Every thought and feeling that could bring her back to that hurt is carefully examined and either changed or erased. It's not about forgetting completely. That's impossible. It's about removing the power those memories have over her. She refuses to let the past run her present or dictate her future. The bond you thought was unbreakable, she rewires that, too. What once sparked intense emotion now becomes just data, something she understands without needing to feel it. She replaces confusion with clarity, heartbreak with control, and obsession with peace. This transformation happens quietly, often in solitude. It's invisible to those who don't know her well, but the results are undeniable. She becomes someone who no longer reacts impulsively or gets caught in emotional traps. She's reprogrammed herself into a version that's sharper, calmer, and almost untouchable. So, if you ever wonder why a Sigma female seems emotionally distant after being hurt, remember, she's not cold. She's been through an intense reboot, and now her system runs on resilience, not regret. And that makes her unstoppable. Number 5, she will never talk about you, but she'll never forget you either. You become part of her memory file, unspoken but permanently archived under never again. When a Sigma female moves on, she doesn't announce it. She won't blast your name, post cryptic quotes, or gather sympathy. That's not her way. In fact, to the outside world, it might look like you never even existed. But make no mistake, you did. She just filed you away in a part of her mind that's off limits now. You won't live in her conversations, but you'll live in her decisions, her boundaries, her silence, her growth. Because every lesson you left behind became a filter she now applies to everyone who follows. You taught her something about trust, vulnerability, misjudgment, and recovery. And even if she never says a word, she remembers all of it, not emotionally, but mentally, with clarity. And that's what cuts different. Most people forget or forgive too soon. Not her. A Sigma female has a mental filing system sharper than most people's memories. Once you land in that never again folder, there's no way back. It's not about resentment. It's about record keeping, emotional safety, and future proofing. So, if you're wondering why she never brought you up again, it's not because she didn't care. It's because she's already processed the entire story in silence, end to end. And once she finishes a chapter, she doesn't reread it. She remembers it, locks it, and moves forward with a clearer lens. And here's the real kicker. She might still hold a strange kind of gratitude. Not for the pain, but for the insight, because you helped her realize what she will never tolerate again. And for that, you've earned a permanent quiet place in her history. Unspoken, unrevisited, but never forgotten. Number 6. She will spot your type from a mile away and never fall again. Once a Sigma female has been hurt, she doesn't just heal, she evolves. The pain you caused sharpens her senses like nothing else can. It's like she gains a new kind of vision, an instinct so precise it's almost impossible to fool her again. She becomes a master at spotting patterns, those subtle signs of manipulation, the tiny cracks in someone's story, the emotional bait designed to hook her in. What used to slip past her now stands out like a flashing warning light. This isn't just a gut feeling. It's a finely tuned inner radar built from experience, and it's ruthless. Your betrayal didn't just hurt her, it trained her. It turned her pain into a weapon of awareness. She can read people's motives before they even speak, see through false charm, and detect hidden agendas from across the room. Where others might fall for tricks or sweet talk, she remains completely unshaken. This kind of vision isn't something she flaunts. It's quietly deadly. She doesn't need to call people out or show off her insight. She simply moves on, leaving behind those who don't meet her new standards without a second thought. Because of what you did, she's no longer vulnerable to the same type of person. She's learned her lesson too well. You gave her the gift of clarity, the painful kind that leaves no room for mistakes. And now she walks through life with armor built from your betrayal, forever immune to falling for that same trap again. So, if you think hurting a Sigma female means she's broken, you're wrong. You just made her stronger, smarter, and almost impossible to fool again. That's the hard truth and the quiet power she carries forward. Number 7. She will replace you with peace and never miss the chaos. You weren't just someone in her life. You were a whirlwind of emotional storms, unpredictable and exhausting. A lesson wrapped in chaos, shaking her foundation more times than she'd admit. But here's the thing. A Sigma female doesn't cling to that kind of chaos forever. She doesn't long for the drama or the highs and lows that came with you. When she finally finds peace, real, steady peace, it becomes her new home. That calm is everything she craved, but couldn't have when you were around. The noise you brought, the arguing, the unpredictability, the emotional roller coaster turns into static in her mind. Something she can't even stand to replay. She won't look back and miss the storm because she knows how much it cost her. The sleepless nights, the confusion, the constant second-guessing. She's done paying that price. Instead, she embraces stillness like a rare treasure. A quiet strength that feels better than any passion or chaos ever did. Replacing you with peace doesn't mean forgetting the lessons or pretending the past didn't hurt. It means choosing herself over the mess you brought. It means valuing her own mental freedom more than the thrill of unpredictable emotions. And once she's there, once peace settles in, she won't willingly step back into the chaos. Not for anyone, not for any reason. Because she's learned that true strength isn't in surviving storms. It's in refusing to live in them. So, if you think you'll be missed for the drama you caused, think again. She's left that behind. And what she's gained, quiet, steady peace, is something you could never replace. Number 8. She turns her love inward. And you're the reason. There was a time when she gave her love freely, overflowing into everyone around her, friends, family, and yes, even you. She believed in connection, in opening her heart fully without holding back. But when you hurt her, that way of loving shattered. Instead of breaking completely, she did something rare and powerful. She turned all that love inward. The energy she once gave away without hesitation, she redirected back to herself. What you thought was lost became a radical transformation. Her self-love rising from the ashes of betrayal. This shift wasn't easy or instant. It was forced by pain, shaped by necessity. You made her realize that the person who deserved her deepest care wasn't anyone else. It was her. And once she saw that truth, she held on to it like a lifeline. Her self-love isn't selfish or shallow. It's fierce, disciplined, and unwavering. It's the foundation she rebuilds every day to protect herself from the kind of hurt you caused. It's the quiet power that fuels her growth, resilience, and independence. Ironically, your betrayal gifted her this strength. You tore down the version of her that gave love without boundaries. But in doing so, you forced her to discover something far more valuable: how to love herself fiercely and without apology. Now that love inside her is unshakable, her greatest treasure and your lasting legacy. You're a chapter in her story, but the real heroine is the woman who turned pain into self-respect and learned to be her own greatest supporter. So, if you think hurting a Sigma female means breaking her, know this: you didn't just hurt her. You changed her, and the woman she became because of you is unstoppable. Number 9. She questions everything. And that includes her taste in people. When a Sigma female gets hurt by someone she trusted, it sets off a deep internal shift. It's not just that she doubts you. She starts questioning herself, too. How did she miss the signs? Why did she trust the wrong person? What part of her judgment failed? This isn't a moment of weakness. It's a moment of intense self-reflection. She doesn't shy away from the hard questions because she knows that's how she grows stronger. But this questioning goes far beyond just introspection. It sparks an upgrade. Her standards don't just improve, they become razor sharp. Boundaries once blurry or flexible become concrete and non-negotiable. The people she lets in now, they have to meet a higher bar emotionally, intellectually, and ethically. She's no longer willing to settle or overlook red flags. This process turns her into something emotionally untouchable. It's not about building walls to keep others out. It's about fortifying her own foundation so no one can shake her again. She becomes fiercely selective, filtering every interaction with precision and care. She learns to trust her instincts like never before and to value her own peace over pleasing others. Her upgraded judgment means she won't fall for empty words or false promises again. In the end, the person she once was, the one vulnerable to pain, fades away. What remains is a version of herself that's smarter, wiser, and more resilient. So, when you hurt a Sigma female, you don't just hurt her. You trigger a transformation that makes her far less likely to let anyone close again. She questions everything, including herself, only to emerge stronger and emotionally untouchable. Number 10. She becomes hyper-selective with her energy. Every conversation, every interaction gets filtered. If it feels even slightly draining, she's gone. No warning, no guilt. After being hurt, a Sigma female doesn't just heal, she evolves. And one of the sharpest changes you'll notice is that she no longer entertains what drains her. She becomes hyper-aware of who's worth her time, her words, her presence. Nothing gets a free pass anymore, not even you. She used to be patient, open, even generous with her energy. She used to give people the benefit of the doubt. But after the betrayal, after the emotional exhaustion, that version of her is gone. Now everything goes through a quiet filter. She watches how you speak, how you respond, how you move. She listens to how she feels around you. If it feels fake, forced, or flat out draining, she's out. No dramatic exit, no drawn-out explanations, just gone. This is not bitterness. This is wisdom gained the hard way. She knows how expensive her peace is now, and she's not giving out discounts. She's not interested in shallow talk, chaotic energy, or people who don't value depth. If you bring confusion instead of clarity, noise instead of calm, or ego instead of truth, don't expect her to stay. And don't take it personally when she disappears. This new version of her doesn't announce departures. She just decides she's done. You won't see the block coming. You won't hear the goodbye. One day she's there. The next, radio silence. Not because she's cold, but because protecting her energy is now her top priority. A Sigma female understands that every yes costs her something, and she's done wasting that currency on people who can't reciprocate. So, if you feel her pulling away, don't chase. Reflect. She's not being distant. She's being deliberate. Because once she's been hurt, she doesn't just protect her heart. She protects her presence. And not everyone gets access anymore. Number 11. She turns pain into discipline. You thought you hurt her. You just gave her more fuel. A hurt Sigma woman often reinvents herself in silence, sharper and more focused than ever. You didn't break her. You built her. Maybe not in the way you expected, but the moment you hurt a Sigma female, you triggered something powerful inside her. Not desperation, not weakness, but discipline. While most people crumble under pain, she turns it into a blueprint. Her pain becomes structure. Her heartbreak becomes a schedule. Her anger becomes focus. She doesn't cope with tears on social media or late-night texts begging for closure. Instead, she disappears. And when she reappears, she's stronger, smarter, and 10 times harder to reach. The woman you hurt gets left behind in the ashes. What rises in her place is someone who now has laser-sharp clarity, tighter boundaries, and a mindset built for growth. You gave her pain. She turned it into discipline. And now she's in the gym before sunrise. She's building her career with tunnel vision. She's saying no more often, cutting people off without a second thought and guarding her peace like it's sacred ground, because it is. A Sigma woman doesn't bounce back. She builds forward. Pain teaches her what peace feels like. Betrayal sharpens her instincts. She stops giving endless chances, stops explaining herself, stops overgiving, and most of all, she stops pouring into anyone who leaks. You'll never see her broken. You'll only see her distant, not cold, just evolved. Because now she's not emotional about what happened. She's grateful. You exposed the cracks, and she sealed them with purpose. So, if you thought you left her worse off, think again. You didn't ruin her. You refined her. And by the time you realize that, she's already operating on a level where your name doesn't even come up. In final words, what doesn't break her only sharpens her edge. Here's the truth. Hurting a loyal Sigma female doesn't crush her spirit, it transforms it. She's not just any woman. She's a force of nature who turns pain into power, heartbreak into hard-earned wisdom. When you betray her loyalty, you don't just lose her. You awaken a version of her that's stronger, sharper, and emotionally untouchable. To all the Sigma males watching, recognize this strength not just in her, but in yourselves, too. Being Sigma means walking your own path, embracing solitude, and developing an inner fortress no one can breach easily. Like her, you learn from every cut, every setback, and keep moving forward with a relentless focus on growth. Remember, loyalty is rare and precious. When a Sigma female gives it, she's all in. No games, no masks. But if you break that trust, she doesn't waste time chasing what's lost. Instead, she rebuilds herself silently and decisively, raising her standards and shielding her heart better than before. So take this as a lesson. Respect the quiet strength of the Sigma female. Her loyalty is a gift. Her healing is a rebirth. And her resilience is a reminder that pain is just the raw material for greatness. For you Sigma males, keep that same fierce loyalty first to yourself. Own your journey, honor your boundaries, and stay true to the power that comes from knowing who you are, even when the world tries to shake you. In the end, what defines a Sigma isn't just how many battles you fight, but how you rise every time, smarter and more unstoppable than before. Thank you for watching, Spicy Ladies. God bless you.